Hi everybody, welcome to Mike's Classic Auto World. On today's road trip, we're going to take a look at a 29 Packard model 640 Sport Phaeton. And I have Warren here with me. Warren is the owner. How you doing, Warren?
I'm well, and yourself?
Good, thank you. This is a beautiful car. As you can see, it's a full classic. It's a four-door with the two windshields. Now this is it's not a dual cowl.
That's correct. It's a sport Phaeton. The reason it's not a dual cowl because it doesn't have a second cowl.
Okay.
But it has the windscreen on the back.
Okay.
And it also has parallel lights on all sides and has the big engine.
Okay. Is this a straight 8?
It is a straight 8. It's got 8 main bearings, or 9 I should say.
Okay.
It's got 384 cubic inches. It's 105 horsepower. And the wheelbase is 140.5 inches. And the gears are not synchronous, as you must know how to double clutch.
Okay.
There's a choke and a spark advance in the car. He even has a cigar or cigarette lighter.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah. And there's a pump in there, which I'll show you when I get to the engine, for the Packard pump, which lubricates 16 places on the chassis. It was a chauffeur-driven car. Most of the room is in the back, as you can see.
Yes, it has a lot of backseat room. What are these drawers over here?
They're glove compartments, that's all they are.
Basically, and you have a light there in the middle?
Yeah, it does light.
And that bottom compartment, that
That's
opens
a glove
up?
compartment also.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very large.
It
has
is.
the full width of the seat, depth of the seat. And then you have the footrest there.
Yes.
And it's all leather.
It's a beautiful car.
And it has oak bows on the top, as you can see, in the chrome work on the inside.
Okay.
It takes a lot of work to keep it this way.
I bet it does.
Yeah.
Now this is a really pretty shade of what, like peanut butter and light brown maybe?
Well, it's tan and butterscotch.
Tan and butterscotch, okay.
And you can see something very distinctive to the Packard. Every Packard had this octagon shape to it.
Okay.
Or sectagon, I should say. And then the radiator cover is all shaped the same way from the first day they ever built a car to the last day. The last Packard, the real Packard, was in 1956. And they merged with Studebaker in 57 and 58, and those cars were Studepackers.
Okay.
And one of the most interesting things about the car,
and this is pretty slick. Let me go around this side.
this is a trunk, and you'll see why. This is the original trunk that came with the car. It's never been restored.
Wow, look at this.
And inside is matched luggage.
This is cool. Look at that.
And if you had smell-o-vision, you could smell what it smells like from something that's 94 years old.
It's old. It smells old. It's like old leather. Wow. And you have all three. It's a set of three, I guess, huh?
That is correct, yeah.
Well, you can see how it's aged with time. It's not really abused. It's just weathered with age, I guess.
Fortunately, it's been covered inside the trunk, so it's lasted. It's never really been exposed to the weather.
That is cool.
There was an option that came with the car.
That is nice.
And a lot of people always ask what this is here, and it's a D-ring. You snap this open, you put the top down. That sits in here, you snap it up so the top will not go up and down.
Okay.
So it stays there. And then in the wintertime, there are side curtains. And it's made out of something that looks like plastic, but it's called isinglass. And so that's what the people would use. There are no roll-up windows in this particular model.
That's why it's a Phaeton? Is that why they refer to it as a Phaeton?
Well, it's just the nomenclature is given. It's a sport. A Phaeton goes back to the 19th century when they used to have carriages, very fancy carriages, and they were called Phaetons.
Yes.
So they just used that nomenclature for this. I can show you the air conditioning in a minute.
Okay. Let's go around the front of the car.
These are trip lights. These were an option.
Okay.
This little circle here is a tribute to the fact when the cars used to be hand cranked.
Yes.
You would hand crank it there. Obviously, that's not there anymore, but it was just a tribute and they kept it there. Forgot what I was going to do here. Oh, the air conditioning.
Yeah.
If you watch the hood.
Oh, the vent on the cow.
Yeah, that's the air conditioning.
Okay.
Which does make a difference.
It works.
Yeah, it does.
Let's air inside, and that's
Yeah.
really all you can hope for.
Yeah.
Can you pop the hood?
Sure.
Can we look at the engine?
Sure.
This car has dual side mounts, which is really cool. This is what, a straight 8?
It's a straight 8. As I said, it's got 9 main bearings. It's 384 cubic inches and 105 horsepower.
Okay.
And this little thing here is called a Bijar pump. It's filled with oil, and there's a handle on the inside, and you release it, and it lubricates 16 spots on the chassis.
Really?
It's an aluminum block, which is kind of interesting for its day. The car weighs wet about 5,300 pounds. It's a very heavy car.
Yeah, it is.
One of the more interesting things too, the lights back then were not that great. So you as the driver, when you have the lights on,
Yes.
this little blue glass thing here, you as the driver could see whether or not the lights were on because it would reflect it up and you would see the blue light.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Not that you can tell with it shining on the road.
Yeah.
You'd have to just
Yeah,
to look at that blue light.
Yeah, the lights were terrible. This is the control for the lights. This is the idle advance. The one on the left is the orange one is a spark advance, and that's used when you're going up down the hill. You get the right spark. The one on the right is a choke. There's a starter button underneath there to the right. The extreme one, metal, and has a little metal piece so you don't, while you're driving, get your foot and hit that because that's the last thing you want to do.
Yeah.
Next to that is the brake. And the one underneath that, the little one underneath that is the gas, and the one on the left is the clutch.
Wow. This is a really, really nice car.
And it's a handful to drive. It's very difficult, and if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to be in trouble.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess the brakes are not all that great, are they?
No, they're not. And what you have to do, you have to downshift to one other thing. It's wood bodied.
Okay.
This is made out of ash.
Okay.
So the whole frame around where the passenger compartment is all wood.
So it's framed out in wood, and I guess the metal is just formed around it.
Exactly. It's all hand done.
Wow.
And
check out the detail in the two-tone in here.
yeah, the pinstriping is something to see.
Yeah.
And if you look at the wheels, this was very typical of the pinstriping that Packard did back then.
Yeah. A lot of pinstriping in there.
They,
now, is this ring, is that needed to keep the tire on the wheel itself?
It's a split rim tire. This is, inside this, there's a tube.
Okay.
And in order to take this off, you really got to be careful because if you don't do it right, that rim will come flying out at you. You can really get hurt. I mean, really hurt.
Very
so you got to be careful. And the tires are 720s, and it's a leaf spring body here. And this is where you put the gas in, right here.
Okay. How's this thing run?
It runs pretty good, actually.
Pretty reliable?
It is. It's like everything else when you have an older car. The best time about an older car is when you put it in the garage and nothing went wrong. So it's a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling.
Yeah. Well, it is a big car. I'm not sure you really get the scale on the video of how big this car is.
This car is almost 19 feet long.
And it's easily 6 feet tall, over 6 feet tall.
Yeah, it's almost, I'd say, close to 6.5 feet tall.
Yeah.
But it's a wonderful car. And I've had it since 1985.
Okay. We've had it a while. You've done a lot of shows with this car?
Many, many shows.
It's been run through the CCCA?
It's a senior emeritus CCCA. It's a senior car from the AACA. It's won preservation awards at the Antique Automobile Club of America. It's won a lot of awards. When I go, I don't even try and enter it anymore.
You're just showing it
I
off.
just show it.
Well, it is a beautiful car. 1929 Packard model 640 Sport Phaeton. I'll get it right. It's a big name. Warren, thank you very much for showing us your car.
Sure, thank you.
Folks, tell me what you think of this car. Leave your comments below. I definitely want to hear what you think. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.